This is Jordan. This video is being recorded on Friday afternoon, January 5th, 2024. Hope you all had a great week, a great start to the year. In this video, just going to wrap up precious metals for this week. Kind of a quiet week. I'm dealing with a cold here, so I apologize for the lack of videos and if I sound different. But moving on, let's get into it. So the key for gold right now, short-term technically, if you go back to the end of the year, although it was a thin week, this weekly candle chart here, we can see gold tested that 2100 resistance, but then closed below it. Negative candle this week, down only 1%. Came down to a low of 2030, bounced a little bit. So 2030 is one support level to look at. Another one is 2000. So wouldn't be surprised if gold came down a little bit more, maybe even to 2000. I mean, if in the next week or two, in the coming days, if we see gold continue to hold above 2030, that would be a good sign about the immediate potential for challenging 2100 again. Now, 2100 is the clear resistance now. I mean, you can see this horizontal line, back to the spike here, that traded way up in the overnight session to begin that week. Closed much lower, but it's obvious the resistance there, going back all the way to this high. So even though the longer term technicals are great, we had those record high closes at the end of December, the monthly close, the quarterly close, yearly close. I think it was the second highest weekly close. It's all great, but I mean, here and now, the only thing that matters to getting this market going is breaking above 2100. Then after that, it's how is gold going to perform against the stock market and the other macro forces, which are going to tell us how far that breakout above 2100 will go. By the way, the equivalent to the 200-day for gold is around 1978 or so. So gold is in good position. I mean, I'm going to do a 2024 predictions video at some point. But I do see gold breaking above 2100 this year. I mean, wow. I mean, profiles encouraged there, calling that breakout with gold only like 2% away. But yeah, the real question is going to be, does gold fizzle out around 23 or 2400 because it goes up with the stock market and then gets hit when there's a downturn? I mean, it wouldn't get hit, 100% of the hit to the stock market. The question is, does it do that? Or, do we get this real downturn in a recession, Fed has to cut, and then gold can rise to at least 3,000? And, potentially if everything is set up, I mean, this can be a move to 4,000 or 5,000 in 3 years or so. But I'm getting off track here. So going down to silver, I mean, this is a little bit of a concern. I remember back here, I said on one interview, I'm watching silver. Silver's really the tell. One astute trader and investor told me like many years ago that silver is usually the tell for precious metals. And it's 26 for silver. This is the key level. I mean, go and watch my last video. I mean, you can see it in the quarterly chart, the monthly chart. This is the weekly chart. It's all about 26. I don't want to see a trend line, from 50 down going like this. Like, I'm sorry, but anybody who keeps doing that with that trend line, I'm going to do a video. I'm getting off track. I'm going to do a video on like the bad technical analysis on silver, because there's a lot out there. But all that aside, my own arrogance aside, focus on 26. That's all you need to watch. This is the key level for silver. And so, gold recovered back to 2100. Silver, it fizzled out here, not even close to 26. So 22 is the support. Here's the gold silver ratio down here. So, I mean, this is perking up. And I mean, this has potential. Close the week at 88. I'm rounding up. I mean, this has potential to get into the 90s, maybe even 100. Now, if gold is outperforming silver and silver is underperforming because the stock market is rolling over and we're going to go in recession, that's a good sign for precious metals. So that scenario, the super bullish scenario, we may need to see silver get hit a little bit more for that super bullish scenario to play out. That is a better scenario for precious metals bulls long term than the scenario where we get this mini melt up and the S&P goes to 5,500 and silver goes to 30 or 33, and then it goes right back down to 22 when there's a downturn. But I'm just babbling on here. I'm sorry, but let's wrap it up here with the miners. So 2 weeks down. These charts are still set up bullishly, in my opinion, even after this week, because the price action here and the strong support here at I think around 26 for GDX. Obviously, we don't want to see GDX fall below this low right here, so it's in good shape. I mean, especially if we could potentially see a strong bounce coming back. I mean, again, master of the obvious statement here, but you get a rally back to this resistance. And again, all these charts are pretty similar. Look at these lines. A rally back to this resistance here. It's going to be in position to move higher to the next resistance level. But, we're correcting now. Gold's remaining below 2,100. Silver's well below 26. So that's where things are at right now. No predictions for next week, but I think at worst we're probably getting, maybe we see a bit more selling and then we get a bounce. But, not a thrilling start to the year or anything, to write home about. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Let me know what you think is going on in the market, and talk to you guys again in the next video.